Hello, everyone. Today we have another feather in our cap, Mr. Gursharan Singh, who has scored 8 bands overall, with 9 bands in listening, 8.5 in reading, 7 in writing, and 7.5 in speaking. Welcome, Mr. Gursharan Singh. How are you?
Good evening, sir. I'm good. How are you?
How about you? Tell us something about yourself.
My name is Gursharan Singh, and I'm currently doing my business in Delhi. But I plan to go to Canada with my family, and that's why I joined Webberz to study about IELTS.
Okay. So you take the IELTS paper-based or the computer-based?
I took the computer-based test as there are more dates available for the computer-based test, and I thought it's much easier as my handwriting is illegible to many. So I preferred computer-based test.
So what would you suggest people to take, a computer-based test or a paper-based test?
I would say if their handwriting is even a little bit illegible, opt for computer-based test, and it's a lot simpler, and the results come out a lot quicker.
Gursharan, you had a score of a perfect 9, that is absolute 40 out of 40 in listening. So give us some tips. How could you manage that?
I think the biggest tip I could give is just practice a lot. At least do one listening every day till you have to go do the test. And I think after 20 or 30 odd readings, or 20 or 30 odd listenings, one can get pretty perfect and while attempting the listening section. I'm sorry?
Which was the toughest section?
I think section 3 is generally, I wouldn't say it's the toughest section, but it's a lot trickier because generally a lot of multiple choice questions were asked when I did the test. And generally they say something in which you will feel there are 2 correct answers or 2 options that are correct, but you have to listen carefully because they generally get rid of the incorrect option and you have to mark the right answer accordingly.
What tips would you give for multiple choice questions in section 3 and section 4?
I think the first line they say is never the right answer, so you have to keep listening, keep yourself focused because they will give the right answer, and so you just have to wait patiently till that right answer is given or spoken by them.
Your reading is also a perfect score, that is almost 9, 8.5, right? Which had about 1 or 2 questions wrong. That's it. So what advice would you give everybody for a perfect score of reading as well?
Same advice as before, just you have to keep practicing. And the way you teach in your master classes, that also helps a lot. So I would recommend everyone to attend those. Even though your master classes is like a morale booster for many, especially for me, because whenever I felt nervous and I talked to you, attended your sessions, you boosted my confidence, and I felt a lot better after that.
Gursharan, how did you come over the anxiety of giving the paper after so many years? I think about 10 years gap, right?
Yeah, after 10 years, I gave an exam in my life. So I wouldn't lie, I was a little nervous, but but I did my speaking first. So the examiner, luckily I got a really friendly examiner. He made me really comfortable. And it was like I'm talking to you. It was exactly the same. So once I started answering his questions, I felt confident. So it was building up. So after I did my speaking, I felt a lot better. And listening and writing, maybe I was lucky I got an easy test. But after attempting the first few questions, it kept on building my confidence and I felt a lot better after I did the exam.
So did you have a video speaking or you had a face-to-face speaking?
Oh, there was no option for me because I did BC IELTS, and so I attempted face-to-face speaking. And the precautions they are taking are tremendous. They are keeping safety of everybody in mind, and the workers over there are wearing the gloves and they're sanitizing often. So there's a shield between the speaking examiner and the person who is giving the interview. You have to wear a mask throughout the interview. You cannot even bring it down from your nose. They make those instructions pretty clear in the beginning. But they are understandable because we are wearing a mask and they are wearing a mask. So they don't really penalize you that much, I think. And the cue card wasn't that long as well for me.
Okay. So was the mask a deterrent?
I'm sorry, I didn't get you.
Was the mask a deterrent in speaking? Did it hinder your speaking?
It did. It's a lot tougher to speak while wearing a mask. And I felt the advice you gave of wearing a thin cotton mask helped me a lot. And also I practiced one entire mock test by wearing a mask, because wearing a mask for 3 continuous hours, it's a challenge, I would say.
It is. Absolutely it is. So even in the listening, reading and writing, you had to wear a mask.
Yeah, you have to wear a mask. They keep on passing through and they keep checking that your mask is not below your nose. It has to cover your face and your nose.
So did they advise you to take an N95 mask, or a normal cotton mask was okay?
It didn't matter for them. I took a surgical mask and a cotton mask. For my speaking interview, I wore a surgical mask because it's really thin and it didn't hinder my voice. But for my other listening and the other modules, I wore a cotton mask. I wouldn't recommend to wear a N95 mask, because I don't think you can wear that for continuous 3 hours and take a test.
Thank you, Gursharan. Absolutely great advice for everyone. Thanks a lot.